Welcome to this match betting podcast. My name's Cameron, aka The King, and yeah, let's just get right into it. So I've been match betting for about 2 years now, I'd say. I started at uni just messing about with about £200, and earned a few hundo a month, and now I'm earning decent amount, couple of grand a month. And hopefully with this podcast, I just wanted to bring some sort of media to the match betting world. There's a distinct lack of like discussions or a good format for discussions of this nature. So in this podcast, hopefully I'm going to talk about hot topics in the match betting world, current goings on, drama, and so forth, of which there's quite a bit of. There's a fair bit. Drama and so forth, of which there's quite a bit of. There's a fair bit. So yeah, I think for this first podcast, I'm just going to do it alone, but in the future, I might have sort of guests on, or I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So the first topic this week I wanted to go over is how viable match betting still is. There's a lot of sort of naysayers and doomsday sayers you see on forums and in the match betting world in general, saying that the offers are getting harder and you can't make a decent living at this anymore, which I don't think is quite true. I think the offers are getting harder, to be fair, but that's just the nature of it. I mean, that's always the way it's going to go. The bookies are going to try and evolve and make it harder to take advantage of offers, and you have to adapt and find new methods and ways to make money. I mean, the thing is, in the match betting world, there's so many different things you can be doing. Like, people are doing horses, people are doing high risk casino stuff, people are doing 2-up offers. Like, so much different ways to make money, and all of them are viable. Like, I know plenty of people who use sort of one main method to make money match betting, and it works well for them. They can make up to thousands per month doing their main method, along with a few other smaller side things. And I mean, the offers are harder. Like, you don't see any easy sort of bet X, get X, or just wager your casino bonus maybe 5 times or less in the casino. But as well as that, the information is so much easier to get access to. You got things like Odds Monkey, which is like completely different to how it used to be, where you just have the money saving experts forums, and there just wasn't the resources out there. There's so many blogs now, and there's just so much info out there that you should be able to take advantage of that and do different methodologies. So yeah, I think it's still definitely viable. Okay, moving on to the next topic, I wanted to talk about the ethics of match betting, mainly in regards to people getting addicted to gambling or having issues gambling. And I also want to talk about like how the match betting services are dealing with this. There's been some scandals recently where the match betting services have advertised, and they've been cracked down on by, I think it's ASA, is it? Advertising standards, something. But yeah, they I think what the issue was, they were advertising, so like basically told them you can't do that. Like, there's certain aspects that are not risk free, which is absolutely true. Especially if you want to make a substantial amount, you have to do things that are more risky. But yeah, further to that, I think I've seen recently on the forums and in various different places, people posting about having issues with gambling, which is to say, like, they've come into it from a match betting angle, and then perhaps they've found the allure of gambling and become addicted to it, especially as we're seeing more sort of casino offers on the rise and becoming a more viable way to make money match betting. One of the worst forum threads I saw was this guy who I think he was betting like 20k upwards on sports bets, and he'd managed to run his bankroll up to like something ridiculous like 120k, I think it was. and you know everyone in there was like offering support. And I think the thing is though, like, I don't think it made that much difference to him, because we pretty much never heard back from him, and like I can only assume that did not end well. Like if you're doing 20k bets and you got 120k bankroll, you have 6 bets. If you lose a couple of bets in a row, you're gonna tilt it all off and lose it all. Lose it all, I think. So I mean, I hope that he didn't, but it seems likely he did. I mean, the other point is there's been a sort of deathly silence from the admins of the match betting sites on the forums when this has been going on, which is a little bit worrying to me, because like, imagine if that got out to the sort of more widestream mainstream media. I do not think they would be very happy if that got out, because I could definitely see them getting in trouble for that. And they don't do anything. They don't even post links to like the gambling commission like help thing or whatever it is. And I think because they would almost be admitting that, yeah, you can get addicted to gambling, or you can fall into these pits from doing match betting, which obviously they do not want to do. So the question is really like, shouldn't the admins provide some more open resources? Because I think OddsMonkey do have some resources somewhere, but it's like buried deep within the site, and it's not really out in the open. I mean, the community is currently doing a better job providing information and like help and resources than they are, which is a bit worrying to me. And moving on to the next topic, I wanted to talk about why isn't everyone doing match betting? You know, it's so good, a good method to make, you know, a secondary income for not doing too much in terms of time investment, especially if you only want to make, you know, a few hundred to spend on nights out or whatever. And I think there are a few reasons why people aren't doing match betting. First of all, it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, you have to be reasonably smart and know sort of basic math skills to get your head around sort of odds and backing and laying. I remember when I first started, these concepts were totally foreign to me, and it took me a little while to figure it out, and I completely fluffed one of my first bets. I think I'd backed instead of laid, but like somehow I managed to recover it and lay the correct amount to get it back to where it should be. But I'd effectively double backed one of the teams, and I think they did lose in the end, so I'd have lost the whole shebang. Also I think match betting is such a hard sell to give to new people. Like, if you tell someone, oh yeah, I've got a betting system that works and makes me money, they're instantly going to be turned off and be like, no you haven't, like, you're obviously a gambler, like there's no way. It's extremely hard to explain match betting to normal people, especially like strangers. Like, you have to be very open-minded, I think, to start match betting, or to even, you know, understand the basic concepts, which is why I think you do see a lot of maths-based people in match betting. Yeah, I mean, it is a really good way to make an extra income if you're if you just want to make a few hundred. Like, you don't even have to invest that much effort. I'm sure there's plenty of people, and in fact I'd say the majority of people do just do that and make a few hundred and just spend their evenings or weekends doing an hour or two. Finally, I wanted to talk about the recent controversy, which is the OddsMonkey Wigan sponsorship. Now, this was quite fun. I mean, the thread on OddsMonkey was an absolute lark, like 1,000 comments before it got locked. So basically, OddsMonkey had sponsored Wigan, and they'd got a couple of, I think it was like billboards up at the game, and they had something in the program, and they had OddsMonkey on the side of the shorts. And the uproar with this was outrageous, because what they'd done is they'd said, oh, we've got some exciting news coming up tomorrow, when in fact all it was this OddsMonkey sponsorship. But I think most of the match bettors felt that they'd thrown it in their face, and that they were now trying to bring OddsMonkey and match betting to the mainstream, which is a fair enough sort of gripe to have, because obviously the more people in match betting, the worse the offers get, and the more the bookies might crack down on it, especially having what was I going to say? Yeah, especially having the sponsorship aside with gambling companies. Nearly every sports team is Wigan itself is sponsored by Mr. Green. So I'm not sure how, like, even if I was a gambling company sponsoring a team, I would have it like a clause like, yeah, no sort of anti gambling. Well, it's not anti gambling, but no sort of services that are going to make us lose money, basically, on the sponsorships. So I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of money these bookies are making. So I mean, you can tell that the most successful companies are the ones with huge TV adverts and sponsorships, which there's gambling. If you watch TV, you'll see gambling adverts all the time, especially around sporting events. I think people were quite irate about Odds Monkey essentially killing the golden goose that lays the golden eggs, because no one wants that to happen. And I think by bringing it into the mainstream, they could be expediting the process by like a ridiculous factor, especially if they sort of started a war between the bookies and match betting services, which I could see happening. But yeah, I mean, this fell completely flat. I mean, I've heard from people who saw the advertisements that it was not that amazing, and a bit sort of laughable in the actual sponsorship itself. But yeah, the thread on Odds Monkey was a complete mostly people complaining about it, and a few let's say Odds Monkey affiliated people defending Odds Monkey's position, but not many, I'll tell you that. Not many at all. And I'll tell you what, Odds Monkey's response was the most PR response you'll have seen, because they did not really commit to anything. They just said, "Oh, we'll take your points into account and bring it up at the next meeting," essentially, and then locked the thread, which didn't go down too well with me at all. I think they should not be censoring as much as they are. But yeah, aside from that,